And welcome to Catholics Coast to Coast. I'm Ace McKay, loving the Advent season. Thanks for taking some time we can spend together, dive deeper not only into our walk with God, but also diving deeper into Podcast Central, finding out what great conversations that can add to our Advent season, and then share those with We Love. In addition to that, we want to, of course, remind you to subscribe, like, and follow wherever you do listen to podcasts so you don't miss future episodes. But as we enjoy the Advent season together, checking in with the Mass readings helps to deepen our walk with God. So let's get a look at this week's Word on the Word.
This week, we want to call you to take a look at the Gospel for the third Sunday of Advent, also known as Gaudete Sunday. Today, in the Gospel, the crowds are asking John the Baptist, "What should we do?"
So he tells the crowds to share your extra cloak. Specifically, he tells the tax collectors to stop collecting more than what is due. But what does he tell the soldiers again?
He says, "Don't falsely accuse people and be satisfied with your wages."
And so people begin to start to wonder, is this the Christ?
And John the Baptist says, No, I am not Christ, but he is coming.
I think in life we all have a lot of questions. What role am I supposed to play in the body of Christ? Am I doing what I'm called to do? And at least for me, a lot of those questions pile up and I get not a lot of answers.
That's true. I don't think we're supposed to get a lot of answers sometimes. Life's about trusting in the Lord, which isn't always easy.
Definitely not. And we have a friend that shared with us one time how she works through those storms of life. She has one specific friend that she texts every time she's struggling with trusting in the Lord.
And she doesn't send a really long book about what's going on like I would to explain who, what, when, where, and why. She only says one word, trusting.
And the person that receives that text knows that our friend is struggling with something and just offers up a prayer for her.
Right. So if you have more questions than answers, like the crowds did in the Gospel, then you need to turn to the Lord and realize that he has the answers, even though that's not exactly the easiest thing to do.
If you begin to feel overwhelmed this week, reach out to someone that you can trust, whether it's a close friend or a parent, and just let them know that you're struggling with something. You don't have to give them a long list of everything, but just ask them to pray for you.
And you know what? We'll pray for you too.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Toodles.
More reflections from year C of the liturgy. Great stuff from Word on the Word. If you want to see any of those that you might have missed for Advent or previous years, you can always check it out at Podcast Central. Go to EWTN.com/podcast so you don't miss future episodes or just catch up on what you have missed. I'm Ace McKay as Catholics Coast to Coast continues, checking in with To Become Family as we dive into what does a man really want. And you may be very surprised as to what it is and how it makes them better as husbands, fathers, and sons. So let's jump into the conversation with To Become Family on this week's Catholics Coast to Coast.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Renzo. I'm the two part of the To Become Family crew. I'm joined by Monica. We are your co-hosts of...
What part am I?
The butt.
There's...
To Butt Come Family.
Get out of here.
We're your hosts of the To Become Family podcast, where we talk about all the human side of Catholic marriage and family life that you didn't learn when you were younger, and that's why marriage is hard.
There we go.
There it is.
That's the end of the tagline. You didn't learn it while you were younger, and that's why it's hard.
Today we're going to talk about Christmas presents.
Are we?
Well, what episode is this?
I don't know.
I just wanted to document it that you also don't know what episode it is. But before we get to the topic at hand, Monica is speaking this weekend at a Advent by Candlelight. And it's just really cool. She gets to go speak. This is, well, not that we haven't spoken individually before, but like this is a cool To Become Family
Solo act.
Solo. Yeah, so Monica's going to speak, and it's just really cool. So if you're going to keep her in your prayers.
Yes, and all the ladies that will be there.
Yes, pray for them too, I guess.
Yeah, I love the Advent by Candlelight event itself.
I've never been invited.
Walking with, yeah.
I just clean up the tables
no
after.
No boys allowed. Yeah, our parish does it, and they always ask Renzo and the boys from youth group to put away the chairs and the tables. But it's a really, I love.
But you're not speaking at our parish. We're not saying which parish.
No, I'm not speaking at our parish
because registration is closed.
That's true. They're full, which gulp. But yeah, so I don't have to travel too far, which is nice. But I get to go to a different parish. But yeah, if you have a walking with, if you're a lady and you have a walking with purpose at your parish, I recommend that you give it a try. It's a good program.
I had
Good Bible
thing.
study.
I had another announcement. That was my thinking noise.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Christmas presents. I want to know
No,
what you
that's
have
the
to say
topic.
about those.
Oh, well, so
Okay. You had another. No, it wasn't about Christmas.
no. No.
I do not know.
Mm.
You didn't tell me ahead of time.
I made good protein cookies.
Do you want to announce all of your food sensitivities and leaky gut
Nah,
situations?
that's an episode in itself.
Okay.
Is
fair
that
enough.
a Patreon thing? Do you want to know about my bowels? Is that a patreon.com/To
We
Become
lose
Family?
all patrons that we have currently. Don't go. Stay. Okay, so not about that, but you
I
did
made a
make
good protein cookie.
3 ingredients or less, which
I
is the
love it.
Ortega family rule.
What do you think I'm going to waste money on?
What?
You said that like it'd become expensive. Is it just the maple syrup?
The maple syrup and the peanut butter.
I'm trying to
that
do
our
little peanut
children
butter.
also eat.
Like I'm trying to do like a full serving is 28 grams. I'm trying to do 14 or less grams.
Okay, it's still.
It just was.
You
it's like,
still are making several batches.
No. We won't do that anymore.
Okay.
That was a mistake.
That-
That was.
That was the first go around.
It was Thanksgiving weekend, and I
It's
had not
true.
had a dessert,
No,
and I was dying.
that's not true.
Oh, on the inside.
You attempted to use cough drops as a dessert until you found out you could.
corn in it. Oh yeah. I'm 35. Developed sensitivity to corn. That's great. I'm like Daryl.
Already
Like-
couldn't eat gluten.
Like
so
Daryl in the office, and he's like,
yes,
"These knees only have one more year, so you want to play softball." This is a deep cut. So I made cookies, and they're great. And I'm not gonna waste the peanut butter.
okay.
We need to get more maple syrup.
Maple syrup is quite pricey.
Is
Real
it?
maple syrup.
Real?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna tag in a buddy of mine.
Who knows how to?
Maybe we can start a
Maple?
business. He makes the maple, and I
Who's your buddy?
don't worry.
Oh,
I got a dealer. I got a guy.
You know,
I got a maple syrup guy.
He knows how to tap that tree.
Oh, we're back, guys.
Christmas gifts.
Christmas gifts. So, what do you get your man for Christmas? So I thought that'd be an interesting way to think about it, because not think about it, but just the idea of like what to get husbands, what do men need, and there's been a couple of like Instagram posts that kind of piqued my interest, and I thought it'd be a good conversation starter. The first
Did they
one,
give Christmas gift ideas?
no, so a couple of them. One of them was phrased in the sense of like, what do I buy my man? So all right, so we're gonna start with Joey Swoll, who is
The best place to start.
so again, this is the human side of Catholic marriage and family life. So we're taking things from secular culture and inserting them to how they could look in a Catholic marriage,
Like it.
because there is all truth is God is found in all truth. Like all truth is
Yes.
comes from God. So like even if it's from a source that you may not, it's not a church father, it's not St. Thomas Aquinas, it's Joey Swoll. However, there are nuggets of truth and wisdom that I think could help our conversation, but then also help other marriages. So, okay. So
What does Joey Swoll want for
do you know
Christmas?
who he is?
Nope.
He's a bodybuilder.
I assumed something to do with lifting or.
Do you know a new thing
Swollen.
that teens and preteens say to call each other heavy set, or to make fun of how much the other consumes?
Not a clue.
They say big back. That's how they make fun of each other now. It's just if you
Boy.
hear it.
Good
Like
to know.
they've passed skibbity.
Okay.
They're now like, this is another
Good
thing.
to
So
know.
yes, I just,
Keep my ears open for.
these aren't ears, those are
Big
eyes.
back.
But yeah. Just
Okay. I was making big ears.
so Joey Swoll
Okay, Joey
has
Swoll.
a big back, but not because he's
But
heavy.
because he's swole.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's a social media influencer who one of his big things now is like correcting people's gym etiquette. People like to post really weird things about themselves in the gym, so he like then responds to those videos being like, this is not okay, this is okay. So he's actually a very positive
An
figure out
etiquette
there.
master. I like it.
Yes. So he got a tweet. Someone said, "What gifts can a woman buy men? What gifts can women buy men? Men always buy women flowers or chocolates or jewelry. But what's the equivalent for men? What do men want? So he responds,
Protein bars.
no.
Just
that
kidding.
was very stereotypical. I know people like him and I look like we need protein bars. I'm just happy with my maple syrup cookies that apparently are too expensive. That's all I want. But he says, no, I don't speak for all men, but I know most can relate when I say most don't like gifts or are too humble to feel deserving of them. But I will say, if you have a good man, one that treats you right and makes you happy, let him know it. Tell him you're proud and that he's your man, and let him know how lucky you are to have him. Make him a man feel he is enough and deserving of love is one of the greatest gifts that you can ever give men. That you could ever give him. Do that and he'll give you the world and more. So that was from Joey Swoll.
Okay.
Okay, we're pulling
Yes.
from all over the place.
All right.
The next one is
Positive affirmation.
So can you take notes? Just
Yes.
No, just like in your head.
That's not the same thing. Joey Swoll. Go ahead.
Just like
I'm a nerd.
Rolodex.
I'm a teacher's pet. No,
Rolodex in
that's
your
not
head.
going to work for
That's-
me.
Absolutely. You put your hood on, you put your laptop up. I'm like, I'm paying attention, teach. I'm also mining these.
Doodle doodle.
No. Crafting these mines. Minecraft? Not Minecraft, sorry. Minesweeper. Sweeping these mines. Jim Halpert. Minecraft is a game my kids want to play. So another one from John Deloney. And so he
I
is
guess I'm not taking notes.
John Deloney is the relationship version of Dave Ramsey. Like he's under whatever the Ramsey umbrella of like all their books and things that they do. John Deloney is a therapist, and he has a lot of good things. I don't agree with everything he says and does because he's not Catholic. So like there's things where he recommends certain things within relationships that is like adamantly not Catholic and like obviously not okay. But some of the things that he says are pretty good to add to relationships and to,
Again, human formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says this, wives, if your husband works hard for your family, tells the truth, shows up for you and your kids, even though he may not say it right or do it all right, and is trying to navigate a world gone mad with both strength and vulnerability, please grab his face with both hands, look him in the eyes, and tell him you're proud of him, and let him know you see him and that you're proud of him. These words might save his life. So again, I think there's a theme here.
Mm-hmm.
These are two very different characters, though both may be swole. I don't know. I haven't seen Deloney shirtless, but I haven't seen Joey Swoll. But just by his name. There's a theme here of like
he in my mind looks like the situation.
he makes the situation look tiny.
Oh man.
No, but so like I talked about like a Christmas gift, but like there are things that I think
That all men want.
that men want and need that has nothing to do with sex. That I think sometimes it's like, oh, that's all my husband wants and that's all he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a deeper desire that most men have that they are, I think, afraid to articulate because it's like
not even know how to.
Yeah. But like that, I think it's interesting because like you could say like, oh, they need positive affirmation, but like, no, there's a very different thing of, I'm proud of you.
Yep. And they both said
and like,
that
I
word.
see you, that you're working hard. Like there's something different there versus like, you're strong.
Yeah.
Like
Good. Attaboy.
yes. Like it's very, very different. And the last one was from Nick Freitas, who I think you can like kind of lump with Deloney, but like he's a different type of,
That's not his job. He's a
No. He's just, I guess, another, like, in terms of, like, never mind. Like, spaces, like, they're in a similar space.
I guess. I don't think so. He's a politician. He's like a local politician.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Turned, like,
Social media
guy.
Speaky into camera.
Yeah.
So he also was asked a similar question, and he had a short video clip where he talked about 4 things that every man needs. And the 4 things were respect. That men need to feel respected, need to feel appreciated, need to feel desired, need to feel loved, need to feel loved. And he talked about like men needing to feel respect for and having their competence and capabilities admired, feeling appreciated, like having people acknowledge like their sacrifices, feeling desired. And I think he put that in like the realm of intimacy, and then the idea of feeling loved and feeling like someone is going to be there with them through thick and thin, no matter what. And I just thought it was interesting that these three characters came up with very similar things. And so then, and I wanted to like pitch that conversation to you of like, has that been on your radar? Like, how did that become a thing? Because I think you do actually a pretty good job of that.
Thank you. Room for improvement, it sounds like.
Oh, yes. Well, so like, well, and I guess that's part of the conversation because like I also, okay, I guess start with myself. Like as a guy, it seems odd for me to say like, hey, I need you to acknowledge me in these ways. Because like then it becomes one, in my mind, it becomes manufactured because like you're doing it because I asked for it. So it's not authentic.
Yeah.
And two, it seems kind of needy to be like, hey, can you acknowledge me more? Which is, again,
feels antithetical to your goal,
right,
like of what you're trying to accomplish here.
Right. Because the whole point of sacrificing and doing all these things is like, I'm going to do this no matter what. So like, you don't need to. And most men think that way. Like you don't need, at least most men that I know are willing to sacrifice for their families and not, like aren't propelled forward by the affirmation they gain, right? Or they get for what they're doing. So they're not going to constantly be seeking it. But when they get it, it's like, yes, this is what keeps me going. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think that's where the idea of feeling loved and wanting that specifically from your spouse, like the men wanting that from their wives, is that it's not necessarily the thing that motivates them to do it, but for the person that they are doing that for to recognize that it's like, oh, she's like, yeah, she really sees me and she sees what I'm trying to do. One thing that I keep thinking of is that particularly with like the way culture is and trying to navigate masculinity, like it sounds like men really want their authentic, good masculinity to be recognized and like pointed out. Like, I see you doing the thing that I cannot do and like filling the space in our family that is needed by the man to fill. And I see you doing that. And I'm glad that you are doing that. And I appreciate that. And, yeah. And that because there's the response of like toxic masculinity and then even like effeminacy of masculinity and like all these different sides to the spectrum. And I think that when a man is really trying to fill the role of husband and father and really authentically trying to do that well, I think they all kind of acknowledge like maybe it's done imperfectly, but like the intentions are in the right direction and that he is providing and protecting and present for your family, that like to notice that, to say something about it, to offer that acknowledgement in various ways, right? And like even Deloney like talked about the physical touch of like grab their face and make sure like go eye to eye and be like, I see you and like thank you for doing everything that you do for our family. And Nick Fried is talking about intimacy and part of his comment was like for a woman to prioritize intimacy with her husband when he's, you know, doing a good job being the husband, then that like physical affirmation of being noticed and seen and appreciated, it goes a long way.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I said many different things.
You did say many. Which direction do I take this in? So like for me, one of the things, and like I'm not ready. We don't have enough information to share a lot of any health stuff. But one of the things that has come up is that there's a chance that I am not, that I could be functioning better than I currently am, right? Like within my health, right? And
that much is clear at this point.
and we and like you and I were talking about how like I'm pretty open with you and how difficult things are for me to do, right? From physically, like just mood wise, like there's just a lot of things that like
motivation.
It takes a lot more for me to do than I think than people realize. And I think when that finally clicked for you on like, this is hard for me, and like things that like are pretty easy for most people, like, no, this is really hard for me. You've started to point out like, thank you. And it's not just like way to go doing XYZ, but like just saying, just the acknowledgement of seeing me first, like I'm proud of you for getting up and doing this thing anyway, right? Like that just acknowledgement of that. And then, so like there's two different things. Like you acknowledge that I'm doing a hard thing. And then also the seeing me of like, I recognize like this thing is this hard for you. Does that make sense? Like there's two different degrees of seeing, like you see me do something hard, but also seeing, like acknowledging like, this is a battle that like, I don't understand, but like, I know you have a battle here. And appreciating that. And I think like that's been on my mind because of like the test results that we don't really know much about yet, but they're like, oh, there's a chance like I did not have to have been functioning.
Yeah, that there could be things
actually
like stacked against you in that realm. Yeah,
and which makes me feel like, yeah, look,
I'm not crazy. I
like,
actually have a thing.
But I'm doing the thing anyway,
yes.
which is really great for me. Which is again not like a pat on my back, more of like, okay, so this is hard.
Yeah,
and so how many? So then that's a segue into like how many husbands are having. I think a majority of husbands are have things that they
these inner
weigh
battles
on them that they are either they're unaware of, that like, hey, you don't need to be dealing with that on your own, or just like are unwilling to bring those things up. And I don't think the way you handle that is by like, hey, husband, tell me your things that you're struggling with, but more of like, I don't know what those things are, but like I see you're trying these, you're trying to do your best with what you've got. I think that's an important thing for a husband to feel seen by their spouse, and not feel like you need to share all of it with me. Like you share when you're ready, because again, the husband may not be able to articulate.
Right. He might not even notice, but for you to even, to see the effort that they're putting into whatever it may be, that you can see that they're like not necessarily motivated to do, it doesn't bring them like enthusiasm or energy, but they're doing it because it's the right thing to do. It's the good thing to do, right? Like we were talking about, like for example, getting up and exercising, and
that's the easiest example.
Yeah,
like that's why I know we go to that a lot. Like that's not to say like you need to do this, but like that's just the easiest example to like point out of.
Yeah, and I hope to often point out to you that like you doing that also is such a good example for our family of being able to do hard things, and that like you are leading by example, and you encourage us to try to do those hard things too. So not only are you doing the good right thing for you and your health, for us in the family, but like you are then transforming how we get to perceive hard things, and that like that leadership is really important. And so I try to acknowledge that too, that like, hey, and it's not to toot my horn, but like I did a hard thing because I saw you do a hard thing, and like that really like made me want to follow in your footsteps. And the same thing with the kids, like, hey, so and so did a hard thing today, and I think it's because they see you doing the hard things. So yeah, I think it's acknowledging the places where, and I think it's the places where like your husband goes the extra mile or the extra inch or the extra like centimeter or whatever, but like you didn't have to do that. Like that's not an expectation, but you did it anyway. And I see that, and like whatever that like intention might be, or whatever behavior that might be, to recognize that and be like, thank you. Like that made our family better. That made our relationship better. That made you better because you did that extra thing.
Yeah. So how would you, cause like, I know you gave the example of like what you do, like how, I guess this is like a conversation starters. Like, how would you suggest couples start even talking about that? Because again, I think there's a big, like, unless a husband is comfortable with any degree of vulnerability, like this seems like, no, you don't need to, whatever you want. But like,
right. And I think that's the point. It's like, you don't need to, but this is the thing that like intensifies your relationship, that like brings it to the next level.
But I just remember this being super uncomfortable. And like the first, and we've mentioned this in other podcasts, like the first time we talked about this, like it wasn't received well. Mm-hmm. Right. Of like, I kind of alluded, I remember this, and we talked about like, whatever, I don't remember what episode it was. But alluding to the idea that like, if I struggle with a thing, I'm probably not going to tell you because you're not going to handle the idea of me struggling well. And you push back like, of course I would.
Oh, the white knight.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you
Yeah.
won't, because like it just, and again, like there's societal expectations and like self-imposed expectations. Like I should be able to do this thing, but
and it shouldn't be hard. Like it shouldn't feel hard or whatever.
And I feel like the world is on my shoulders.
Yeah.
For like, and sometimes it's like, it's just one, and you felt the same way. It's not like this is strictly just for men, but I think in typical relationships, men are less likely to bring it up as an issue. But like, I have all these expectations for work, whatever, and then I get home and like I have to do another thing, and it's just like, what the heck? It's similar to being touched out, but like it's the world keeps touching me, but like it, and now the dishes are touching me, but right, and so like I feel like, yeah, I clearly, this is not a, like me complaining about the dishes is a very silly thing, but like
it's just
that's the thing that broke my back, and like that's the last straw.
Yeah.
That broke the camel's back. That's where I was going with
it. I got it.
But like clearly not swole. Not a big back.
I have a herniated disc. It's fine.
But the right, but like you're not willing to bring that up because like it just doesn't make sense. Like you wouldn't accept that. Well, you're like, as soon as I bring up like what I struggle with in terms of house, you're gonna be like, well, I was home all day with the kids.
Right,
and like,
yeah.
So it's not as easy of conversation
or an
to
explanation of like why it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
All I'm asking you is to do this one thing. Like, and it's things that we, thanks be to God, like we are beyond that now, where I can bring up the thing. And also you could be like, but I really need help with this. I'm like, yeah, I gotta just get over it and help you. So, but like, I don't remember, how do we start those conversations well? And maybe they don't, maybe they just gotta be a fight. You don't get me.
Well, I don't. So maybe we'll get to how to start the conversation. But one thing I really had to learn was to not make it about me. Like you sharing, any time that you were willing to be vulnerable and share, I had to keep my mouth shut and not make it about me, and like listen to what you had to say. Thank you for sharing that with me. And like, if I didn't know necessarily how to respond without like putting myself in your shoes or like saying like, oh, I can relate to that, because I can't, but like I want to try, was just to like say thank you for sharing that with me. And like, I'm going to try to be aware of seeing that or noticing that. I'm going to try to be aware of when that occasion happens, and like just leave it at that and not try to like correct or fix or over empathize or whatever. And I think it sometimes made the conversations a little bit shorter, but then it didn't take the focus off of what you just said.
That was actually super helpful. I don't know when that switch happened, but
do you feel like that's true though, that I did that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not without,
I tried.
Like,
It was hard.
Again, not without like
I'm very selfish.
I've had to make that correction with our kids too. Of like, don't make that about you. Yeah. They're talking to you about something. Yeah. But I remember with like, even that was there's a big willingness from me to correct. So, and I think like, I think we're both choleric, right? Like we're both willing to like go back and forth. So, which is, I think, a very helpful thing in terms of having conversations about anything.
There you have it. What a man really wants, whether it's for Christmas or life in general, to become family. More of that conversation or episodes you might have missed. Check it out at Podcast Central at EWTN.com/podcast, or subscribe wherever you like to stream. I'm Ace McKay. When Catholics Coast to Coast returns, Poco-A-Poco is helping us to draw closer to the consecration of Our Lady of Guadalupe, reflecting on our relationship, journey, and our encounter with Mary. How does that work through the Advent season? We'll get more on it next when Catholics Coast to Coast returns.
The destination for great Catholic audio programming is EWTN Podcast Central, featuring the best of EWTN radio, as well as faith-filled podcasts from our friends and affiliates across the nation, all in one place. all free. If it's central to the faith, you can find it on EWTN Podcast Central. It's like podcast heaven. Visit EWTN.com/radio/podcasts today.
Poco-A-Poco vamos a llegar. Somos peregrinos and you know that's who we are. We make our way.
Hi. It's on. Don't worry.
I know. I'm Father Mark Mary.
I'm Father Saint.
What's your name?
That face.
Father Angelus.
I'm Father PT.
This is the Poco-A-Poco podcast. You didn't say that last time, so that's why.
Poco.
You guys were all 6 foot, huh? Freshman year of high
Wow,
school?
we're still back on that, huh?
Yeah, I just feel for you.
expect that.
You were sitting with that all week, huh?
Yeah, man.
I weigh the same now that I did in high school.
Freshman in high school?
Not freshman.
No,
Not
no,
freshman,
not
bro.
freshman. But like
Junior, senior?
Junior, senior, when we were playing football, I was 175, 180, and that's exactly what I weigh now.
I put on some LBs. Put on the old poundage.
All in the guns?
Yes, all my muscles. Sure.
You cover you
All my big muscles.
you hide it well with the habit.
Appreciate that.
So here's the thing, Father Innocent.
Sorry, I was still making fun of him.
We're gonna play it. I would like. Oh my god.
The obnoxious water pour never gets old.
Never gets old.
That is funny.
That was funny.
I know. It's amazing how funny I am.
Can we do this together? Like, it's better when
Well, no, that's
Angie and I together.
Yeah. We're gonna play a game. If you're here for serious things, please skip ahead. This is gonna be in the runnings for the most meaningless of conversations of all time. This is just fun.
We got to get our wall
There's-
together, by the way. Hey, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Whoa, see that look on your face right there? That triggers all sorts of stuff in me.
Story time. What's going on?
When I was a senior in high school, I was the best smelling senior.
The best
Award.
smelling.
Award for the wall.
So
Award
best
for the
smelling-
wall. Best smelling
This is
wiener.
pretty classy. This for your
This
best
is classic.
smelling. I was most likely to be a priest.
Boring.
Pious, huh? That's what we're doing. The best smelling.
Best smelling senior, and I was the most likely to be a priest senior.
Were you wearing cologne? What were you doing?
I mean, you know.
Do you want to tell
No,
what
I
happened?
don't. What were you?
No, I mean, it.
You were wearing cologne
It makes
for
a lot of
sure.
sense. I'm a clean guy. Someone asked me the other day if I iron my habit.
And you don't.
I was like, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I do not iron my habit, but I'm clean. I'm neat. I'm clean, and I smell good. Anyway,
Gosh, that was random. What did your sister win?
it's not random.
I
It's
think
an
most
award that I
likely
won.
it
Why are you
played-
belittling my award?
Oh no, it was not.
Story work. Here we go.
No,
we have like a jingle.
I
word.
I don't know what my sister won.
Most likely to be a professional athlete.
Makes sense.
8 kids.
Yeah, it can.
She probably could have if she wanted to, right?
I don't know. She was good. She was really good, but I don't think that was.
Anyway, I'm just want to. The award wall is an idea that I like, and that would be my contribution.
Right. I apologize for not celebrating
You do not need to
with
apologize.
due reverence.
Don't worry.
And just joy and
Don't worry.
jubilation.
Don't worry.
I was most likely to be a priest. Did we talk about that?
You were
You actually
right.
accomplished
You
it.
won.
Just kidding.
What did you have something?
I didn't get any superlative.
Me neither.
Because we had like 3 or
Not even.
4.
1,000 people. Just kidding.
500
schools.
in our graduating class.
We had 200.
Yeah.
Some 300
Oh.
maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't even close.
But you were the most inspirational.
Yes.
On my 7th and 8th grade.
Hey,
Bro,
we're holding
bro.
that.
Yeah, I have no
Whoa,
problem with
whoa,
that.
whoa,
Together.
whoa, whoa.
We're
What does the
holding it
Father
all
say
to-
about you, bro? What does the Father say about you?
Grab his
He
oboe.
says-
Grab his oboe.
Come on.
He says it's okay.
Come on.
He says it's okay if you're annoyed. They're being annoying. That's what I heard.
The other voice.
Any more? I mean, this is
No,
good.
this is good. Don't. We won't
This is
interrupt
great.
you.
All right.
We're not
there we
going
go.
anywhere serious, so it's not.
Oh, actually,
like,
do you want to share what happened before this on the website?
We don't
The
want to
Knights of
interrupt
Columbus
you.
website.
I want everybody to know that I'm working through my stuff, so this does not come from a place of hurt. They didn't put my name on the website. Father Innocent wrote the book on the website.
Wow.
So anyway,
I'm walking out of the office. He's like, store my.
Great.
To which I said, bro,
they're gonna.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure they'll change it. I'm sure they'll change it. It's all good. It's all good. But it was just really funny. It was just really funny.
we co-wrote this book. It's called Sons in the Sun. You can get it on the website kofc.org/sons.
At this point, it just said Father Innocent wrote it. But at some point,
Is that a CTA right there?
That was another one.
Yeah, just
Your brother's here sharing his trauma. And
It's all
you're trying
business.
to sell books. Man.
no, that's not what happened.
Anyway,
right there.
I'm sure they're going to change it. It's all
Wow.
good. I'm glad we could laugh about it. Yeah, it's good.
Are we?
I really am good. I just laughed. I laughed out loud. I was like, oh, look at that. Because he wrote the last book. It's all good.
Take your headphones off. Don't forget the all-star team that you made that he didn't.
Well, we're really going for story. We're really going deep in the story work here. There's like memories and stories.
Can we go back to what you were originally going to do?
Yeah.
I love
how you like take your headphones off as if I couldn't hear you.
I forgot you were in the same room. Shoot. Was that too deep?
Nope.
Wasn't too
I
deep.
feel the love.
See what? When you have redemption in your story, man,
That's right.
You can laugh.
That's right. I'm trying to think of what. Anyway, so here's the game.
Oh, here we go.
This is the how innocent is Father Innocent, how angelic is Father Angelus game.
And how
But it's-
Father Mark May and Father PT know all these questions. They know the answers to everything, and then they get to put us on display about how much we don't
We get-
know
I
about
don't
the
know
world.
how much I know about this one.
We're going to celebrate that your freedom. We're going to celebrate your commitment to the Lord, your
Play-
your
play the-
consecration
okay,
and
play
sacredness
the
and removal from the world.
Play a stupid game.
It's okay. So I have 11 actually. Here's the top. What we have here.
We let
Have
you down. We
did
let you
look at
down
my
last
list?
time.
I looked at some, so it's not.
We
gonna be
let you
completely
down last
fair.
time. We remember that other game.
We played that game, but on the
I don't
third time
remember.
we got it, the one-word game.
So this is the top 11 highest grossing movie stars of 2024. The question is, how many of them do you know?
Top 11, huh?
Top 11.
2020.
You'll see 11 for a reason. And so what we're going to do over here is guess I'm going to set the over under how many you're going to know. And I'm going to set it at
And you're gonna say their name? We have to say the movie, or you're
no,
gonna
you
say
just
the
have,
movie?
no, not at all. You don't have to know. You just have to know who they are.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to put Father Innocent over under, and you're going to be the better.
Yeah.
Over under 2.5. Father Angelus 3.5.
One more, huh?
I'm gonna take the under for both.
The under for both.
Then I'm not gonna know two of them.
actually-
Underperform.
Then I'm not gonna know two of them.
Yeah.
No, that you are gonna. So
At least two of them.
that you're gonna know. It's how many you're gonna know.
Yeah.
Two. So at least two.
Yeah.
And he's taking under, meaning that I'm not.
You have to know. It's 2.5. So you have to know 3 to win the bet.
Yeah. Because if I took the over,
That's a lot.
then that means you're gonna know more than that.
3 out of 11.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Top grossing movie stars currently 2024 in the United States of America. Number 1. This is the highest. This is just the list. Glenn Powell.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in Top Gun.
Okay.
Oh, the Twister movie.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy.
in Twister. Top Gun and
Okay.
Twister.
That's
You know who that is? Were you gonna know?
the Twister guy.
This
yeah.
I feel a lot better about this game. I thought we were gonna have to guess that.
No,
I feel a lot
no,
better.
no,
Okay,
no.
this is great.
So I might
you got
lose.
one.
I might lose
Twister
on this one.
Twister. Yeah.
Channing Tatum. We don't have that, we don't have that long. to
Nope.
think that
Nope.
hard.
Nope.
I do, of course.
Okay, so are you keeping? Can you keep track for
I
me?
gotta get three. I gotta get three.
Dave Bautista.
Nope.
Nope. Thanks for the encouragement over there. That was such a.
It's just when I heard that name, I was like, "There's no way the guy's gonna know that guy."
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait.
You don't.
Beekeeper.
Beekeeper one. Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
That's
That's
his,
his
yeah.
new movie. We watched it on a home visit.
Dad.
Austin Butler.
That's one. Nope.
Nope.
Zoe Saldana.
Father son. I know our father son. Nope.
Nope.
So sorry.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Nope.
Nope.
Margot Robbie.
Nope.
Gosh, it sounds familiar. I don't know.
Viola Davis.
Nope.
Nope.
Jenna Ortega.
She's in Beetlejuice.
No.
Hey, we're running out of it. I only got one. I've only got one.
Well, and I included number 11 because this was Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, of course we know.
Mark Wahlberg. That was it. That was
He's
it?
number 11.
That was 11. We already went through all 11.
What was the final score?
So, and Father Angelus knew 3, Father Innocent knew 2. Therefore, I win the bet because he's 3.5. He's
You
2.5.
picked under.
I picked under for both.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel very strong about the odds I set.
Yeah, that was great.
We all won.
Nice.
All around.
We all
All
won.
around.
we met expectations. I thought that was fun for the people of God.
I think
That's
so.
a lot of actresses and actors I had no clue about.
I bet if you saw their faces.
Were you worried when I knew the first one? I started off.
I was, yeah, I didn't think you were going to know that.
Because Glenn Powell was the only one I didn't know on that. But then once you said Top Gun, I was like, okay, he's the same guy from Twister.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's the kind of tough antagonist in Top Gun, the second one.
Oh. Like, I don't know that I could probably name movies for half of them, maybe less. But
so I think Jenna Ortega was just in the new Beetlejuice. She was, what movie? Barbie, Margot Robbie, Lupita Nyong'o. She was in something recent.
Look at you guys.
Oh, Lupita. Anyway,
a lot of them are from the same movie series, I think, or some of them.
Okay.
That was fun.
That was great. That was great for me.
I'm glad that I'm putting me on display and my human weaknesses.
This is not a This is a celebration of strength, of meekness.
Feels like a zoo sometimes.
I feel like a zoo sometimes.
Hey, but I just want you to know that in this zoo, you're the best.
You're the main attraction. What are we doing here?
I'm trying to affirm him in his mission, like we talked about last month.
In the zoo, we let you roam free.
Great. You're like little lemurs.
Everybody just loves to
Father
come and
PT
see.
wants to come and feed.
Pat.
Have you guys gone to Tanganyika? You guys
No, I've never
You
been.
didn't go to Tanganyika?
No, we weren't there. We
Been
did
there.
something else.
We got to move along.
Okay.
We gotta move along. I'm
could
sorry,
stay- we could stay
everybody.
here all
I'm
day.
sorry, everybody. We told you. We warned you. That was fun for me. I looked at other lists, and you guys wouldn't like top YouTube people, top whatever people, and they weren't
No,
fun.
we
You guys,
wouldn't have.
it was dumb. This one worked out. Great. Hopefully you played along at home with guessing if they would know that many people. All right. So what are we doing today, Father?
What are we doing? Hey, we're coming in for a landing of our consecration for our 40-day consecration to Our Lady of Guadalupe. I think we're the second to last week, and so next week will actually be where we talk more about the consecration and really giving our hearts to Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so, and again, if you're just joining or you would like more information, please just go to kofc.org/Poco or /sons, and you'll see all the information there. And again, this, I kind of forget to say this, but I'm sorry, but just kind of this whole, the book and the journey is called Sons in the Sun, right? So that's kind of the title of it. So you can see that in different capacities, whether it's the videos or the book. And so actually this idea came when we were doing the shorter videos for the Sons in the Sun for the nights. And so Father Angeles and I were doing those videos together. We're doing 7 videos. They were shorter. But what ended up being really beautiful is that one of the videos we just kind of was less content driven and more just personal about our relationship with Mary. And because we've been talking about Our Lady of Guadalupe, we've been talking about what it means to be sons after the heart of Jesus and how Mary is such a big part of that. And that's going to be kind of central to the book, how Mary helps us live as sons. But guys, it's a personal relationship. Mary is a real person. She's a real mother. And it's so beautiful in heaven as she sits before the throne of God. She's actually more real than we are to each other right now. She's so close to us, right? And it's really an intimate thing. And it's a call to relationship and intimacy. And so what was really beautiful when we did those other videos is that Father Angeles and I just like took some time just to reflect on our own personal journey with Our Lady, our own personal encounter with her, and kind of just what it means for us in our own vocation, our own priesthood, our own sonship. And so we're going to stop with the content, right? We're not going to necessarily drive through some content here, but I just want to invite all of us to share what our relationship is like with Our Lady, our own personal love for her, and maybe some moments of graces along the way that just really makes this real for us and real for people. So Father Angeles, thanks for volunteering to go first.
Okay. No. Yeah, and I shared this a little bit in the other video like you were talking about, but one of the things that was beautiful talking about Mother Teresa in college when we did our mission trip here, I think it was between junior and senior, me and Father Innocent did.
It was freshman, sophomore.
Wow. Freshman and sophomore year. Same thing. We did a mission trip here, and we had a beautiful opportunity in the Bronx to do their summer camp. And so we spent the whole summer here, and I just have that memory stuck out. I remember being in the courtyard And I remember at some point with the sisters being taught really how to pray the rosary. I know that sounds kind of silly, but like the idea of like, okay, I think I knew how to pray the rosary at that point, but like really like starting to pray the rosary with the sisters, just something opened up in me. And I just recognized Mary's presence in a deeper way in my life. And there was a point in my college career where I like was making this transition from I think I was still dating at the time, but I think there was like, but in that space in my life, there was this like transition being made of just wondering what it would be like not to have to do it all on my own, not to have to like keep in control of my life and perform. And it's funny, my vocation of like surrendering to Jesus and recognizing that he might have a deeper call in my life kind of came out of that movement in college. But at that point, it was just like the performing, the earning, the achieving, the being perfect, to try to being good at everything. And I just remembered that mission trip, something kind of shifted and something kind of broke off of me a little bit. And I wonder if meeting Our Lady in a particular way that summer just allowed me to be more of a son and allowed me to be less in control of my life. And I know that could sound simple, but something shifted. And it was just this powerful experience of recognizing like, oh, wow, Mary's really present to me. And she really reveals to me the goodness of the Lord, the presence of the Lord as we kind of like walk through the mysteries. I remember it's just kind of funny. And I love it when other people have this revelation, but you're like, oh, wow, just how the mysteries of the rosary fit together. You're like, oh, wow, it actually follows the life of Jesus. I know it kind of sounds kind of funny, but I had this like aha, like light. You're like, oh, wow, this is Jesus's life. And Mary is really with us there and really invites us in there to experience the Lord in a beautiful way. So that like grace was given. And it's like the mysteries of my own life, just thinking about being tired of controlling and being tired of doing it on my own, being tired of being in charge of my life. I just had this, all of a sudden Mary was in my life, in the mystery, like revealing where Jesus was in my life. And so it's just really powerful. I think my relationship with Our Lady began there. And then the reality of trying to be faithful to the rosary every day, trying to be faithful to, I always like to tell people, like, I don't necessarily like the word devotion to Mary because I don't know what that means. But like, that was when my relationship with Mary started. Like, I really felt like her son. I really felt like she was mothering me, because devotions can just be about doing particular things. And I felt that temptation, just like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to, but I feel like I started to walk with her in that part of my life. And I feel like that's the funny part about that is that's when I think I received this. That's when we met the community, and that's where we met the poor that summer. So it seems like she was being like quite creative, and she had other plans in the midst of all that to reveal that. But I remember going back to college, and I remember just being different, just being more son, being less graspy and less kind of like I have to do it on my own. I have to be good at everything, and just being more myself. And so it's just really powerful then to kind of come into my vocation. The only other thing I would throw out there is at some point, a couple years into vows, I started going to pilgrimage to Lourdes every year. And I think I've been to Lourdes 7 times. And it was with our, this beautiful pilgrimage. And I've probably talked about it before, with kids with special needs. And I was trying to think the other day, even some guys just got back from going to Medjugorje. Some guys just went to Fatima. And I was like, whoa, why did Our Lady call me to Lourdes? Like a lot, like that many times, And I'm just struck and grateful for like the reality of who she was there, and who she was for Bernadette, and how she mothered Bernadette, who was just super poor and in need, kind of rejected and abandoned, like, and just how she became at Lourdes is like the healing place. Like Our Lady became a healer there, and she does that everywhere, and but there's different manifestations of her, always, of course, leading to conversion and leading to the deeper Christian life. But I just particularly like my draw to her there, in my own poverty and my own ability to have her be the healer, and have her be present in my life in those spaces. So even as a friar, like opening stuff up and letting her be present to me and love me. It seems to be a continuation just of the grace that was given when I was early in college, of just her like constantly reminding me of her motherhood, her tenderness, her ability to like really see me in my life, to see kind of underneath all this. It surprises people, but I still, as a friar, strive and perform. But I feel like she's the one who just kind of sees below all that and meets me there and loves me there and holds me there. And I'll end with this. When we were I took final vows. My family got me an image and an icon of Our Lady of Tenderness, and so it's actually quite beautiful. And but I have it in my room with a candle, and I light it every morning. And just again, I kind of Mary's gaze, like beneath what I might think is my own identity, or what I might think I'm supposed to do, or like the day-to-day business, or the day-to-day need to kind of be someone else, or to be what I think I need to be, or whatever. And Our Lady's like just gaze, just reminding me of that simple grace, like, hey, you can be my son, and hey, I'll provide for you, I'll love you, I'll make Jesus manifest in your life. So it's beautiful. Just a few things there, but I think it was really this beautiful grace that started early in college, and really like something shifted in my life, and I really believe I was like being a son in a different way.
Fears or the joys or just the deeper things that are happening in our hearts, and we could say, hey Mom, what do you think about this, or can you help, because like she's our mother and she cares for us. Also too, with the icons, if there's a statue, something that you could just tangibly look at and be with, or if it's like a prayer card of Our Lady you could put by your computer screen or something, like once again, just to keep, like once again, you put pictures of loved ones maybe in your office or in different areas of your house to remind you of memories. And so just to do that, because we're also physical too. It can't just be totally mental. And she was a real woman. And so, you can just remind yourself, okay, my mom's with me in this time of work or in the living room or whatever it is. And so she never leaves me, and she desires to be with me in this way. And so I'd say those two things.
I'd say the context for my most kind of profound, intimate experiences of this are either with an image or with kind of the scripture, but kind of a quiet, still, prolonged period of prayer where there is just like, kind of like it can be in, for us in our, in the cell during a meditation hour or on a time of retreat. But for me, it's always been like what I was looking at or what I was praying with has varied. But it's this like, for me, the kind of soil had to be right of quiet, still, like almost like this, like in kind of an intimate sort of receptivity that's cultivated, and that's where I've experienced it the most.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. And again, I'll just add in, it's kind of a shameless plug, but I do think, like Sons in the Sun, like devotional, or there's a ton of devotionals, right, that will accompany you. I think sometimes we need accompaniment. So that's why I think this journey we've attempted to go on, it helps us grow in our relationship with Our Lady. It encourages us. It helps us in our daily prayer, opens up some new meditations. And so there's so many consecration books or devotional books to Our Lady that I think try to hit at the heart. And so there's so many saints out there who did this so well, that'll just really help you grow. Sometimes we just need to stir the flame. And so again, hopefully this journey of consecration to Our Lady of Guadalupe, the example of the saints, the example of Saint Juan Diego, again, can stir us. And they're like schools to help us grow in our love for Our Lady.
Right. Do you want me to pray to close it?
Yeah, please, Father PT. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
You're less.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord God, we give you thanks just for being with us and loving us. We give you thanks in particular for the gift of Our Lady. We just pray, Mom, that you would be with us in this way, a way that's intentional and focusing on your Son. We ask you to be a mother to us, to know that at all times we can cry out to you and we can be heard, and you would lead us safely to a deepening and a deeper relationship with your Son. We ask for your protection, that you would cover us with your mantle, that you would hold us close to your heart, so as we feel your beating heart, we can be drawn closer once again to the Sacred Heart. And we ask you just to once again be mother to us and provide for us in ways that are seen and unseen. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Amen. Amen.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Next week is actually the consecration of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So
we'll have one more episode that'll come out on the 11th.
Yep. And so we'll just talk more about Our Lady and just help like more proximate preparation of consecration then. So
what does your relationship with Mary really look like? Great insights today from Poco-A-Poco. If you want more of that conversation or others like it, check them out at Podcast Central when you go to EWTN.com podcast. Also, remember, we've got EWTN Radio Extra for more conversations that really you can take on the road while you're traveling for the holidays or just when you start the new year, additional insights to reflect for our faith. I'm Ace McKay, going to bug out and maybe get some shopping done. But in the midst of your busy week, remember to let God define who you are. And I'll see you next time with Catholics Coast to Coast.